Hi there, beautiful souls. Welcome and thank you for watching. I'm Gabrielle, retired medium in Germany, and I like to share some of my otherworldly experiences and insights. So, this one is about an unusual healing session I once experienced in Brazil. So I traveled for years and years to Brazil in the wintertime here in Germany because I don't like the cold. And that's really fantastic because in Brazil there is summer when we have winter in Germany. So that's a good exchange for me, and I spent some months during the winter time always in Brazil during the last decade. So, with some of my friends who always like to organize something, a little journey together, we came to places where usually, as a normal tourist, you would not come to because you have to know the things. And my friends know quite a few special places and things and attractions in Brazil. And of course, they wanted to share that with me and show it to me. So we had wonderful journeys together. On one of these journeys, we were hiking through the jungle and, of course, going towards another waterfall. And after that, we had an appointment on a little fazenda, that's like a small farm that was close to the waterfall. And the people there had arranged with the group to have a coffee there in the afternoon, and they served coffee, tea, and drinks. And in their own kitchen, they made wonderful sweet things that we all loved to eat. And we were sitting there as a group on the porch in front of the small farmhouse, and just being happy what we experienced on the waterfall, and enjoying the nice afternoon coffee with friends and nice atmosphere. And the whole farmhouse, the whole scene was like, to me, it was like 150 or 200 years ago. They had a little pool there with ducks swimming in there, and it looked like from a fairy tale, old fashioned style. And of course, they had dogs running around, and the corn was growing very close up to the farmhouse, and there was a small yard behind the house, a backyard. And I wanted to have a cigarette, so I went away from the table with food and my friends, because I did not want to disturb them with me smoking. And I found a little corner where I sat down and lit my cigarette. And this little corner was very close to an entrance, a door into the kitchen where the women were baking and providing all these wonderful things, cookies and cakes and banana bread and whatever. And I could look into this entrance, this door, and I saw on a kind of cupboard a TV set that was running. And just the TV set was there, and on the other side was a couch, an old-fashioned couch, with this wooden frame structure and green velvet and very high armrests. And I saw kind of a piece of a blanket that was looked as if it was just thrown there. And I was staring through this door and already started wondering, why am I staring at this door or onto the TV set? Wasn't even interesting what was shown on the TV set, but I couldn't turn away my gaze. And I already felt kind of ashamed. How are you intruding into the private sphere of these people and things like that? You know, you have all these crazy intellect thoughts in your ego. And then suddenly I got it. Why? Because suddenly something from under the blanket moved as if somebody was laying there under the blanket. And I had not seen that before. And I saw an arm coming out. And so I knew, oh, there's somebody laying there. And that's even more intruding to look at somebody who had maybe his little afternoon sleep there. And I still couldn't take away my gaze. And I was really surprised about myself and wondering what this is all about. And then came a little girl, a blonde girl, not looking very Brazilian. And it was, I think, the daughter of the owners from this little farm. And I started talking with her a little bit, and she also with me. And I asked her, who's on the couch there in this room? And she said, oh, that's my uncle, and he's handicapped since birth. And then I even was humbled and felt more ashamed that I had gazed upon this handicapped person. And I still did not get why I was so attracted. And then her mother came out from the kitchen and also entered our talk. And she said, oh, you can visit him, no problem. And she asked me to come in. And, you know, the wonderful thing in Brazil is, when I say there, I'm a spiritualist, everybody knows because they're all more or less well known with the work of Allan Kardec, who was I think a French spiritualist who influenced very much the spiritualist church and scene in Brazil with his work. So when I say that in Brazil, everybody's going, oh, how interesting. When I say I'm a medium in Germany, everybody is going one step back and kind of teasing me. What do you mean, a medium? You can see ghosts, and they always want explanation. What do you do, and how does it work? So they're very heady, and they ask questions and questions. And the Brazilians, they just know it's energy work. It's from soul to soul, and they say, oh, interesting. And I was so eager in my beginning stages after my mediumship trainment that I offered, well, if he wants, or if you allow me, although they were Catholic, they had no problem to allow me to offer him some energy exchange by putting my hands on him, like in a healing session. So they brought me in there, and he was already awake. And he looked at me, so I sat down and I explained who I am. I said, I'm a tourist from Germany, but I'm also a spiritualist. And I feel kind of drawn to you, don't know why. And I had the idea maybe I can offer you energy exchange and put my hands on you. And maybe it's helping, however. Would you agree? And that guy couldn't talk properly because of his spasms and the handicap he had, but he was going like that. He was okay with that, and he accepted. I interpreted this as a yes, and the family as well, because they assured me, okay, go. And then they left me alone with him. And when I touched this man, whoa, my God, you won't believe it. I was nearly thrown back or thrown away by the energy. And in the end, it wasn't me giving him energy, it was his soul giving me energy. I got the healing, although I had offered a healing session for him. So it was totally the other way around. And his soul was just a beautiful, strong white light that was kind of the strength of a lightning. And I was starting to vibrate, you know, it was very, very strong. And my ego thought, well, I'm doing it wrong, of course. I should give him, but now I'm receiving. And is there anything wrong here? Shall I stop? And my guide said, no, stay. That's important for you and for him as well. So I stayed until after 10 or 15 minutes. I had the feeling, okay, now it's going down and it's ebbing out and ending. And I thanked him, and he just smiled at me from one ear to the other. And then I went out, and I was still so shocked that I had to lit a cigarette and smoke in the backyard, because I just couldn't fathom what had happened. And then, of course, when I, after some time to collect myself together and get into a calm state of mind, when I came back to the group, sitting there on the porch at the table with all the sweets and cakes, of course, the family came because they wanted to know what I had experienced. And I looked at them, you know, the father and the mother, old people, kind of poor, but very pure hearted. Wow. And, you know, in Germany, handicapped people very often are put away into asylums because the family can't handle it. It's a lot of work, it takes a lot of energy, and it's exhausting, even if it's a very high vibrating light being soul that's in that handicapped body. And I didn't know what to tell them, so I looked at them and they looked at me, and then I more or less started crying. I couldn't help, and I said, "Wow, I'm so shocked. The soul of your son is such a great spirit, and I'm very thankful that I'm allowed to be here. And you might find it difficult to live with him. I can tell you, in Germany, these people are very often put into asylums, and he knows that you are working hard and you have difficulties, but he knows that you love him. And he knows what you are doing, that you are allowing him to have a normal life, you know, with the whole family, with the niece, with the dogs, with everything around. And that is really wonderful. I have to repress a little bit my tears, because remembering that was really overwhelming. And hey, the parents, they were just happy to hear that and to get the acknowledgement from me, because I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't give healing energy. I got it. It was me getting something from higher vibration. And they embraced me and said, thank you, thank you. That was very important for us to know. So that's what I wanted to share today with you. And it matches what I once was shown by my guides, because I couldn't understand. And I mentioned that in the interview with Alex Ferrari on the Next Level Soul podcast. Why do people choose a life that looks for us with our 3D eyes from outside like suffering, being in a handicapped body, having a heavy disease, not being able to walk, sitting in a wheelchair or something like that? And they showed me that high spirits, very strong lights, are queuing up in line exactly for an incarnation in such a handicapped body, because they know they can touch much more souls by that. You have to wrap your head around that. Most people, if they look at onto a handicapped person, they think something along the lines of pity or poor guy, or to themselves, oh, how happy I am that I can walk and have my legs still working, something like that. But rarely someone thinks, wow, this must be a great light soul choosing something like that, such a big mission or task that looks not really desirable for me, at least. So that's a very different viewpoint, and maybe it can help you to look different upon what we call suffer and different circumstances. Okay, want to leave you with that. Blessings, love and light, dear souls. Thank you. Goodbye.